Hi there. Can you start with 50,000 Kenya shillings and be able to grow your wealth? That is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Can you start with just 50K and then be able to become rich over time? The spoiler is that yes, you can. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 ways you can go about it in the informal economy setting, and also 7 ways you can go about it in modern kinds of investments. Please note, when it comes to investing, the most important thing is for you to just start. Most people out there assume that they need to have millions of shillings for them to be able to grow wealth or become rich. That is a misconception. You being able to become rich starts with the willingness to become rich, your mindset, and execution. That is why in this video, I want to talk to you about how you can start with even 50,000 Kenya shillings and be able to grow your wealth, whether it is in the informal economy or even alternative kinds of investment. You are all much welcome to my channel. My name is Afagza Sifuna. In case you are new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel. Down there below, there is a button called subscribe. Click that button, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any videos I do post each and every day, because I'm bringing you amazing videos around making money and investing each and every day. Having said that, let's jump right in. You see, in your quest to investing, there are important things you need to consider, and more specifically, in the informal economies, the possibilities are unlimited, because with 50K, you can start reselling household items. Whether you are buying new items or second-hand items and then reselling. And please note, I begin with this particular opportunity because this opportunity has a very big upside. The demand for household items are unlimited, and that's so because people out there are moving in towns, in urban centers, okay? And beyond that, people also in their houses, things are breaking down. You know, they want to replace things. They want to get new things. And not everyone out there can afford new things. That is why you doing reselling of household items, whether new or second-hand, is a realistic and formidable business, which you can start with just 50K Kenya shillings. And if you are disciplined, you can see that grow over time. Okay? And then the second business you can jump into is mobile car wash business. When it comes to car wash business, of course, you might need a small pressure kind of like machine to assist you have the car wash, okay? You might need water storage, you name it. You can start a mobile car wash business. Of course, you don't need all this set of equipment, but just starting with little set of equipment, you can be able to wash cars for clients. And this is an important one because not that most people out there are very busy. Most of during weekdays, they come from work, they go directly home, right? They go and park their cars, they continue with the evening activities. What if you do pitch to a few people out there where even you can be visiting their homes and washing their cars for them? Yes, each of them is going to be paying you a little amount of money, but be sure you will be in business. That is why it takes just that first step for you to start to walk to people and pitch or propose to them the service you can render. And if you have an agreement, you can have a number of clients who you can be rendering this service to and get paid, okay? And then the third one you can look to jump into is you doing fresh groceries delivery. And this is an important one because for you to start fresh groceries delivery, it is the kind of business which doesn't need a lot of capital. We are talking about even you having 20K, you can start a groceries business. But now where there's the value add is fresh groceries business delivery, whereby you can be even having a standing weekly delivery of groceries to specific homes out there. Build a client one by one. You're going to be delivering these groceries to them, delivering fruits to them on a weekly basis. Be sure you'll be amazed as to how a number of adults are going to appreciate their headache of going out there to get groceries, to get fruits is going to be solved. And with this, you're going to be right in business, okay? And then the fourth idea is you selling thrift. And of course, you're going to be utilizing the power of online platforms, social media, for you to sell thrift. I'm pretty sure out there you've heard and you know Mutumba business is doing very well. whether it is for clothes, for shoes, you name it. And that is why you combining the power of selling thrift together with the online platforms is going to assist you be in business. And even guys, 50K is a lot of money because with 50K, you can be able to get the initial stock you need. And even you'll have spare for you to do social media marketing, even pay for adverts to push your products out there. And that is a way you can easily start flipping 50K for you to be able to make money through the informal economy. And then the fifth idea is you providing simple digital services such as posters design, artworks, social media management, you name it. Providing simple digital services. With 50K, you can be able to learn a skill around the digital space. You can be able to brand yourself, okay? And even go beyond for you to be able to render these services to people out there, okay? And then the sixth idea is launch a small snacks or tea serving spot in high traffic area. In case you are in Nairobi or even other city or other town in Kenya or even in Africa, you have seen, for example, the people who hawk tea. They do hawk tea and they sell mandazis, you name it. So you can take it a notch higher to even have a small temporal structure, okay, where you target high flow traffic areas. Or even you can have your own model whereby you are the boss and you have a number of people who are assisting you sell. This is an amazing investment, and guys, 50K is enough for you to start. And of course, when you're talking about people eating, that never goes out of fashion. So be sure you're gonna get customers. In a place like Nairobi, which has over 4 million people, the customers are unlimited, okay? And then the seventh idea is operating weekend events or equipment renting business. You can start small. I'm very sure regardless you are in which town, you see, for example, equipment like, for example, tent, sound system, chairs being rent each and every weekend because events are happening each and every weekend, okay? And this is a thing you can jump into in the informal economy for you to be able to make money. And even beyond that, you can think about even renting of equipment in case you have, for example, lighting equipment, okay, sound equipment. You can be rendering these and you'll be able to make money. Having said that, those are 7 ideas in the informal economy. Which other idea do you think you can jump onto with 50K in the informal economy and you'll be able to make money? Let's now talk about investing and multiplying your gains in the modern kind of investments. In that sphere, the very first investment you can do is you building your emergency fund. Please note, emergency fund is very essential for you to be able to have money at hand whenever you need money at hand. I'm not just saying you need to have that 50K and then put it in your mattress. No, I'm talking about modern alternative ways you can be able to build an emergency fund utilizing 50K. Case in point, you can put that 50K in money market funds. Money market funds is where we have fund managers out there pulling investment from different people, putting this investment in short-term investments, for example, treasury bills, for example, commercial papers, and as a result, be able to share daily interest with people who give them money. This is a very good conduit for you to utilize to build an emergency fund because you can be able to access money from MMFs with ease. Maybe you just need 24 hours, 48 hours for you to access your money from MMFs compared to alternative investments out there. That is why you building an emergency fund is the first investment you can do in the modern or more structured kind of investments. And then the second one is placing your surplus cash in other alternative, like for example, special funds, you name it. Beyond the money market funds, you can also place your surplus amount of money in special funds. Please note, there is a caveat to this. I was reading a news article about 2 days ago where in Kenya, the Capital Market Authority had raised concerns over the abnormally high interest promised by special funds. Please note, they didn't say they're stopping special funds. They just raised their concern so that special funds out there can address issues around advertisements and also revealing risks to people who invest in them. Still, this is a formidable investment you can look to jump into. The only difference between MMFs and special funds is that special funds normally have a higher barrier to entry. Reason being, they have a required deposit quota. And also, their holding horizon is quite higher compared to MMFs. because special funds can require you to hold funds with them maybe for 6 months or even 1 year. So if you have money and there's not money about to use for the next 6 months, you can maybe channel that 50K to the special funds in case there is a special fund quota which allows you to get in with 50K. Okay? And then the third modern investment you could look to pump your money to and also grow money through investing is you investing in quality shares. Guys, by this, I mean you doing proper research, understanding how the stock market is performing before you jump into putting your money in shares. And by quality shares, I mean both kind of shares from whichever end, whether it is a new or growth company or it is a mature company. You getting quality shares from this company through doing proper fundamental analysis and technical analysis to understand the company health, their debt situation, their growth potential, their unique competitive advantage is going to assist you be able to make money through these modern investments, which are value investing options. Because shares is a sure way of you making money, whether it is through share or capital appreciation, where your initial share price goes up, or whether it is through you enjoying dividends, where companies pay you a portion of their annual profit because you are a shareholder and these companies have grown wealth. Okay? And then the fourth way you can go about growing the 50K which you invest is you reinvesting your dividends. In case you have put your money in dividend stocks, okay? Maybe a company has paid you dividend. Instead of cashing out a particular dividend because it has maybe tax implication, you plowing back into your initial investment is going to assist you see your investment grow exponentially. And guys, that is how people grow wealth out there. That is how the rich grow wealth out there. They don't cash out their gains. If they get a gain, whether it is dividend, whether it is interest, they again plow back that particular investment, which gave them that particular gain. And if you do this over the years, be sure you're going to be able to really, really enjoy the benefit of seeing your investment compound big time. Because the magic of growing wealth is on capitalizing on a time horizon and also capitalizing on something called compounding. For you to be able to see your initial investment, both the capital and returns, big plowed back to become capital so that you increase your growth, okay? And then the other way you can be able to grow your 50K is growing your investments and capitalizing on alternative investments out there. When it comes to investments, there's multiple investments. For example, real estate. For example, stock market. For example, business. And the one I'm championing here is business. Reason being, with 50,000 Kenya shillings, chances are you won't really invest in real estate meaningfully unless you're looking at rates, okay? But beyond rates, the best alternative for you to jump into with 50K is thinking about investing in business and plowing back your profits back into that business so that you are able to grow your investment. You see your investment continue expanding as opposed to you cashing out on your investment, okay? And then the sixth investment you can do with 50K is you diversifying your portfolio. In case you are already investing or even you are new to investing, think about diversifying your portfolio. Because if you are already investing and maybe there's a given asset class which you don't have in your portfolio, this 50K can assist you acquire that asset class for you to be able to continue diversifying your portfolio. And please note this very important. Most people out there assume 50K is not a lot of money. Guys, it is a lot of money when it comes to the scheme of investing. Because that 50K, be sure it can even afford you specific asset classes within the country. Whether it is MMFs, whether it is shares or stocks, whether it is even treasury bills, there are those asset classes which have a minimum amount of money, whether it is 20K, 30K, 50K. And the amazing thing, even around, for example, MMFs, these don't have a high barrier because even with 1,000 Kenya shillings, you can get into MMFs, okay? Even with, for example, 5 Kenya shillings, you can get into trading in the stock market. Don't limit yourself. And then the seventh investment you can do to ensure you continue increasing your investments in the modern era alternative investment beyond informal economy is you continuing to learn. At the end of the day, you earn according to your knowledge. You earn according to your skills. That is why you also need to invest in continuing to learn. Invest in financial literacy. Okay? Invest to understand how you can consolidate your investment while also continuing to grow. Invest in new modern digital skills because all these are going to assist you be able to increase your income, whether it is through negotiating for a better salary in case you are working, or even gaining the knowledge necessary to assist you ensure you manage the risk when it comes to investing and grow your initial investment. Guys, those are the 7 ways you can utilize 50K to prosper in the informal economy, and also 7 ways you can utilize 50K to be able to increase your investment. What do you think about these ideas? I hope you've gotten a few ideas which you can look to start with whichever capital you have out there, whether it is 10K, 20K, 50K, whichever amount of money. Even if you think a small amount of money, you don't need millions for you to be able to grow wealth. Start with that 50K and see how you can be able to grow wealth through the power of discipline, execution, and utilizing compounding to see your investment grow over time. Cheers, guys, and I look forward to share with you other amazing videos next time. Take care.